ladies and gentlemen. The next 1 hour is about to be quite the experience as we recap all the hot stories of the week, or at least the ones that, well, time will allow us to get to. We've had quite a serious and mind-blowing conversations all week, and now it's time for Hot Topic Special.
Well, Lolo is all hyped today, but she wasn't on Thursday because we talked about how mad as in upset and worried Lolo was about content she came across on TikTok. Now, as we start Hot Topic Special, social media is still at the top of the agenda. This week, comedian and actor AY Makun has found himself saying, "It wasn't me," after an AI-generated video of him and actress May Edochie kissing.
K-I-S-S-I. Nonsense. His knicker or pants. I said it.
To the issue on social media, he expressed disappointment over the misuse of technology to spread misinformation. He urged young Nigerian innovators to focus their creative talents on constructive endeavors that build the nation rather than tearing others down. He also emphasized the importance of unity and collaboration, stating that supporting one another's efforts would yield better results than engaging in divisive actions, referencing a previous incident involving reality television star Alex Unusual, who faced false narratives for association with his brand. So he questioned the tendency to undermine individuals striving to make positive contributions and called for a collective effort to foster an environment where everyone can thrive.
Now, this conversation around AI actually reminds me of a video I came across this week of U.S. television host Bill Maher. Take a look at this, and then we'll talk.
Electric cars a thing, and is currently working on perfecting reusable rockets, space travel, connecting the human brain directly to computers, connecting cities with electromagnetic bullet trains, the Starlink satellite system that's so important to the war in Ukraine, and then on Tuesday, it's going to work on that.
So that video of Bill Maher you just watched is AI generated.
Yep.
It's 100% fake. It was generated from one single picture of him and audio. There are people who would watch that without all the captions and think it was real. When I first saw the AY video with May Edochie trending, I was like, what? Okay, I know she's an actress now. I know they're on a movie set together because I think we have the original pictures of that as well. But I was like, what's going on? And in the motions of their movement, you'll see, okay, this is not necessarily true. There's a bit of, it's still not 100% smooth. And then I think she has 6 fingers. And then if you look at AY's hand, it's going around. There's just something. That's the one that is not 100%. But if you compare that with what you have of Bill Maher, we are heading into extremely dangerous territory.
I don't think we're prepared even to deal with that. Because I don't think we are. Because first of all, one would look at this video and see that, okay, so people are going to start using this to be troublesome. Instead of thinking positive, people are just going to use, so you can bring something from somewhere and just join it together and make a story. And if you're not at par with the times or moving with the times, you feel yourself carried away by all these generated images, so you don't know what to believe anymore.
And so the scariest part is the more these things are used, the more they are perfected, right? If I didn't see, and so the danger of it is it's a mix of that kind of technology and a generation or a world where people no longer settle down to look through things. Attention span is shortened.
3
so
seconds.
you scroll past that picture and you're like, another man cheating. You're not even, you won't even settle down to see, oh, she has 6 fingers. Oh, the movement is not smooth. People do not care about that anymore. So it's really scary because we're headed towards a phase where we cannot exactly tell the difference. At least now we're still laughing. I see some very funny videos. I don't know why they make those videos, especially this America's Got Talent, Simon Cowell.
That they turn
very
to
annoying. They turn to animals, and then you see Simon's face like, and we're laughing about it. But the more they perfect it, eventually now you're seeing videos and people are in the comments are like, "Is this AI? Oh my God, this is so smooth. I never knew it was AI." So I don't even know what it's going to become like, because how do you defend yourself? It's no longer a situation of, okay, once a while deep fake, someone say what I did. You can't,
how do you tell it apart?
I'm looking at it from another angle, because, you know, there's so many things we used to think that, oh, it's going to happen in a faraway future. But that future is nearer now, where the perfection of all these AI things is going to still become something that will be in mainstream use, like movies, like after some time, you probably would not even be able to differentiate if these are real life actors or AI generated actors. So as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people need to just keep stepping ahead in their minds that these things are here now, and they will get better. So I do not know what's going to happen in the near future, because I know that even though they're developing technologies like this, there will be technologies that will counter it eventually.
So the technology they're trying to, perfect is technology that allows you know if a video is AI generated.
Yes.
But let me tell you, many of us will not bother
We will
to
not.
download that
That's what we
technology.
will never
Not bother to go. No, it's not at some point. Let me tell
It's
you,
not.
we won't even bother to go to the website, because even now with fake news, we see stories that we obviously should question. We don't bother. We don't go. So we work. News Central works with the continent's leading fact-checking organization, and if you see some of the videos that we fact-checked last year of Elon Musk, of Obama, you wouldn't even know. It would take a really trained mind and somebody thinking, this thing that this guy is saying, it would have been blown up across the world. It won't just be one social media account that has it. You know, those kind of things. We're in a low-trust society already. We're also in a society that we're like vultures. We like to sit down on top of something, and we like all this gist and
what
everything.
I'm saying is, whether we like it or not, the technology is here. So whether we like it or you have to just know mentally that these things exist now. And that means anytime you need to do something, you need to really fact check it, or else you're going to be in trouble. Especially we in the news, business. It can happen on Monday. You can use it to gossip, and maybe they might not take you on. How about if you use it and it blows back on your face, and it becomes something catastrophic? Well, look at that girl that wrote something about someone and said a lawyer. I can't remember what she did. What she said about that she reported that. One story we took recently about a lawyer lady who wrote some story that wasn't fact-checked. Oh, okay. And it became a problem for her. Now they're suing her.
Whether we like it or not, this is where we're moving into, and staying away from it and say, oh, it's too much for me, it's too much for me. It just cuts you off from what is taking note of what's happening, because either you get swept along the way, or you actually sit down and pay attention to what is going on and decide to get educated.
And this really works for people that have controversial characters too. But people expect some things from. So it's easy to use them to generate all these evil narratives.
I'm not sure if AI meant I'm not sure if AY mentioned it in his statement if he was going to take this up, because this is something that dents his professional reputation. It dents his character. Yes, him and his wife may be separated. I don't know if they're fully divorced. But if it's not real, for somebody who looks for investors, for somebody who's a father, for somebody who has a professional reputation, you're playing with this. And let's not forget our parents who use WhatsApp. This video was all over WhatsApp showing, AY. And then remember that May Udoche is in the middle of a situation with her ex-husband, Yul Udoche. So it's a configuration of things. But I also want to point out, Lolo said something about it usually will work for people who have, controversial situations. It's not them alone. So now what we're also seeing is that in terms of young women, their faces are being superimposed on pornography. They are creating AI-generated child porn.
We have to.
I don't understand what world leaders are doing. They're doing this race. You will sit down and find your face, but you're not talking about the harm that is being done.
When I keep saying that social media needs some kind of regulation, honestly, we need some kind of regulation. If this country, if the leadership of this country really, really love the next generation, we need some kind of regulation. And I know that it's really doable. There are some countries that will not allow something. I think Dubai, there are some sites you can't get on if you're in Dubai.
Yes.
No matter what you do.
In Egypt, same thing.
I did dream about Egypt.
So that's why, that's what you're saying.
So we need to get to that point where the leadership of this country will know that for the sake of our impressionable youth, it can't be all of them that are bad. Some need to be helped by not seeing some things or not having access to it. If you cannot go to some site, no matter how much you search, even as an adult, there's a pornographic site you will not even be able to access if you're in Dubai. So if they can do that, that means they can do it here. And I think if anybody is saying remove your bra on top of social media, your video will not go.
Lola will not leave this thing alone. And it's fine.
I also think that this is a time where we, for some reason, it feels like we've been very evasive of the conversation of regulating blogs. Because before you say Jack Robinson, blogs would have carried, and it's like nobody is checking. There's a blog that, and the more you are controversial with your post, the more people follow you. There's a particular blog till today, I don't know why people follow that person. You just wake up, put a list of people you say are a certain gender or are not, or are doing this or do, and everybody's like, did you know this person is this? I'm like, you didn't even check. There's no proof. There's nothing. You just put a long list of people, and then people are believing it. Imagine this video probably wouldn't have gone this far if certain pages did not post it. So I think that we should also look into regulating blogs. If your story is not true, there is a penalty, because we're tired of people just posting anything that is not, and then everybody like, it's true, it might be true, and they're now linking it to things that did not happen.
It's a lot that we need to get into, and a lot of conversation we'll continue to have, but right now we need to take a break. We are giving you all the hottest stories, at least our own hot stories from the week, and when we come back, we'll be getting into 31 additional states may be coming the way of the Nigerian Federation. Let me get to it. May be coming the way of the Nigerian Federation. We also have updates on a very heartbreaking story of sexual assault against a 16-year-old boy here in Lagos, and much more coming your way. And Kemi Badenoch is back on the table at the request of Catherine. We'll be back.
Wanted that story.
All right. Now, in our latest updates on keeping up with Nigeria's House of Representatives, moves are underway to create 31 new states. It seems they have looked at all the issues currently happening within the country, and one of the priorities is the creation of new states. While it's true that you can walk and chew gum, sometimes you delay the walking or the chewing of the gum to face what you need to face. This development would increase the nation's states from 36 to 67. That's now.
So this proposal was presented by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu during a plenary session on Thursday. The House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review proposed 6 new states for North Central, 4 new states in the Northeast, 5 in the Northwest, 5 in the Southeast, 4 in the South-South, and 7 in the Southwest. So for it to be enacted, it requires approval from 2/3 of the National Assembly, the affected state assemblies, and the local government councils. There have been bills over the years proposing the creation of Oru State, Ogbomoso State, Tiga State, Ogoja State, and others. The creation of new states has been a contentious issue in Nigeria, and then there's been arguments both for and against it. Proponents argue that it would bring government closer to the people and promote development, while opponents caution about the potential for increased administrative costs and inter-regional tensions. Lolo, you can go, because I knew you are bursting.
Maybe I'm not aware. Maybe Tolu is more in the office than me. Have we acquired more land in Nigeria?
No.
No, we've not was there a conquest when I was
No,
away?
but you still have a large, it is not about how much land Nigeria has.
No, it is, because I'm wondering. And are we going to have the states in cubes?
In cubicles.
Yeah. Is it like a cube state that we're going to have the smallest states in
like
the world?
pigeonholes.
Or pigeonholes, because there are some things that are just unfathomable and totally. It's like people are not they're not thinking.
Do you know what this
because
look
as
like?
it is, I've said it
You've
many
said
times.
it on this table. That's why I said
any state that is not viable, a state that cannot that cannot
Pay
sustain
salaries,
itself. Sustain itself, as in generate enough funds
revenue,
to be able to sustain its own self without going back to federal allocation. That is what I consider a state. But that is not what we're having. We're having mushroom states that are even advocating for merging of states. You now want to fragment the state. I want you to have is it going to be like peanut state? 1 peanut to...
Why don't we make...
What is the requirement
We
of
should
having a
just call
state?
them local governments.
Let's just say Nigeria is made up of local governments.
You can't just call them local governments because local governments are under a state. You cannot create a whole new country. So the next thing you can create is whole new state. But wait, Lolo, I think one thing we miss in this conversation is that this constant clamor for new states, for people to get some form of recognition. And my Ogbomoso people, I understand, they've been shouting for Ogbomoso state for the longest time, probably since before I was born. It matters. We need to recognize that the clamor for it is because that there is a high level of disaffection with the Nigerian state, a high level of separation. We do not feel Nigerian. The next closest thing that we're looking for is our state or our local government.
There must be criteria. There must be a laid down criteria of what makes a state a state.
A state is what a country makes it.
No,
it doesn't guarantee.
So anybody can just wake up and decide to create more states.
That's why your House of Representatives are starting.
Now we have 67 governors. Oh my God.
I don't think it will guarantee that because they're saying that the economic representation, economic viability, I don't think that it will guarantee all of these things because it would not take away the bottlenecks. In fact, it will multiply them.
Right.
Because you have 36 states or 37 states
and we're going through
that are dysfunctional.
That are dysfunctional, number one. I think it's just a lure of power. People just want to entrench themselves and create. Someone is from Ogbomoso, you say my state can. You that is clamoring for a state, do you have the wherewithal to generate funds for yourself, create jobs?
But the problem, I keep telling you, the problem within itself is that at the state level, there are so many areas within a state that are getting ignored. So if you are not able to function controlling a mass, controlling 67 local governments, maybe 58 local governments, break it apart and let us have smaller units that are more direct to the people. Excuse me. States are not getting to the grassroots. And people deserve to feel like they're being recognized, like their needs are being attended to.
Do you know what it takes to have a state? That means new agencies will be created.
Do you understand?
Fragment agency. Ogbomoso Broadcast Waterway. Goja, this and that. By the time we fragment this country into little bits that cannot self-sustain, what they should be clamoring for how to make the states more viable, more economically
we've done this state project in Nigeria for 60-something years now. It was not the states we started with that we have. I think the last state creation was late 70s or so, or late 60s. My history is off. But we've done this format of state for the longest time. It obviously has not worked. Let's try something else.
So let's admit the state to it. Look,
if that is what it takes, companies break apart to subsidiaries then that they can better function. Why can't a country?
Recognition might be guaranteed.
Ijebu State is on the list.
So I can go home.
But there is no guarantee that the issues will be attended to. That's what I'm saying. Because yes, it might be recognized. Oh, there's now Ogbomoso State. There's this, but there's no guarantee.
No, Ijebu State is there.
Whether we like it or not, we can be talking about these things. Whether we like it or not, it's already in pencil, and it will shock you.
Stresses was what you did.
Ibadan State from Oyo State, Lagun State from Lagos and Ogun, Ijebu State from Ogun State. It's a serious thing. And again, I just keep coming back to the fact that as long as we've had this state, obviously we're not doing something right.
So why we have a committee for where they will say, as far as I'm concerned, there must be a criteria for what it would take for you to have a state. So if the states that are clamoring, if there is a laid down criteria for what can make you a state, so far you can meet it, then maybe we can discuss
and
it.
Watch how they will discuss creation of states without discussing measures to ensure that these states are actually adequately catered to.
So let's take some reactions to this. So obviously I'm the only one on this side of the fence. Let's take reactions, not loft. Thank you. Reactions now. All right. Somebody says, "Who bewitched Nigeria?" When we should be talking about merging the existing, the existing states that have proved not viable over time. Some not so engaged members are talking about creating 31 more states in Nigeria. What do you have? Then somebody says, "What do you have against state creation? Be intelligent and state your case instead of ranting. These are serious. There are serious benefits from state creation. Chief of all is infrastructural development at a much faster pace. people also get closer to government and can hold their leaders to account. What else do we have? 31 more states with each having 3 senators. With the present economic situation in this country, do we have the resources to fund 202 senators at the upper chamber?
God bless you.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
In my opinion, creating more states could be beneficial, but I doubt a democratic president has the power to do so. If more states were created, allocations would go directly to them, enabling infrastructure development and job creation. And someone says, if the Constitution is amended, a democratic president can create more states.
If
the Constitution doesn't need to be amended. As it is, it's not to the president, it's to the National Assembly, the states affected, local
Look at this one
governments.
now. So some overpaid clowns believe that the solution to Nigeria's myriad problems is to create 31 more states. Why not make it 100 or convert the existing 774 local governments to states?
There is another. This is another classic case.
governments.
This is another classic case of misplaced priorities. Instead of fixing insecurity, unemployment, and economic decline, they're focused on creating more states
Exactly,
just to expand political offices and government spending. More states won't magically solve Nigeria's problems. In fact, it could make governance even more expensive and inefficient. What we need is accountability, resource management, and real development, not
I hear
more
you.
bureaucratic divisions. I think we have time for just...
I hear you. Because we talked about... No, serious, because we've sat on this table and talked about accountability. We're not holding our leaders accountable. You say you want to create more states.
It becomes more.
And do you know that the states that they are pulling out these states from, there will be so much about dividing.
They are so
Now they will say, okay,
thinking about the
these
largesse.
states, there's so much bottlenecks, so much issues that would crop up.
What is the money calling? The money calling
we cannot take out.
Some states will say, we are part of the Jabu state. They say, no, Ekpa is not there.
We cannot take out the God complex that already exists.
Voila.
If somebody is already sitting down on the money that is for the state, when you divide it, 2 people are sitting on 2 different state allocation. It doesn't make anything better. If you like hot governance,
If
what
you
will
say
not come to you will not come to you.
I want to
Yes, be as close as you are hugging them in the
Media Broadcasting Agency.
See,
Commissioner of
what this shows me, I'll still go back to what I said initially. And again, this clamor for new states has been on for ages. What this shows me is that people are not seeing the dividends of this democracy we're promising them.
Okay.
They're not at the grassroots, they're not feeling it. They're not feeling seen, they're not getting their needs attended to. They're not able to get accounts and transparency. At the end of the day, they don't feel attached to Nigeria at the top. They want to feel attached to Nigeria, at least at the middle and the base and the grassroots.
It's all right.
And maybe because Albert Einstein said it is when you continue to do the same thing at the same way, expecting different results. That's the classic case of insanity. It's the classic definition
another
of
case
being
of
insane.
insanity is bringing up solutions without bringing up how you would achieve it.
That is where it is a proposal.
With the kind of economic
It will
decline
continually
that
be a proposal.
That means all these little states, you know, they'll go and borrow again.
So it's a cycle.
I need
you go back to the federal. Even children from the same parents don't have equal treatment. What are you talking about? We don't feel connected to our state. You don't feel connected to our state. What does that mean? Are we even connected to Nigeria?
So how you think that when they create this model, you feel really connected?
Do you understand?
Ilea is here. Let's come and eat together in my place.
I can't with this.
And then I don't even know all that exists in capital. You want me to learn
67.
And then we say we don't. We're struggling.
We need to move on to other Twitter stories. This next one, hello. They have offered her a position in Ogun State.
It's not a sweet story, honestly.
It's not.
I wish I could say
I just need to prepare you.
We're going from bad to worse. Now, a man has been arrested in Lagos for allegedly sodomizing a 16-year-old secondary school boy. Simply identified as Macdonald, he's also accused of luring 5 additional teenagers to his hotel, where he allegedly subjected them to the same act. Now, he reportedly intimidated the victims, threatening them with death if they dared to expose the incident. The 16-year-old told his father, who reported to the police. Now, the suspect denied using the boy for rituals, but admitted to having sex with him twice. Following the incident, the suspect allegedly provided the victim with a bottle of Lucozade Boost and 5,000 naira cash.
According to the media reports, there are recorded telephone conversations, chat histories, and video evidence filmed by the victim within the suspect's residence using the suspect's own phone. Additionally, the Zone 2 Police PRO disclosed that the investigation also exposed unprofessional conduct by the initial investigating police officer. The officer allegedly tampered with the case file by removing a crucial witness statement before transferring the case to Zone 2 Command Headquarters. The IPO has since been detained and is undergoing disciplinary procedures.
So after the conversation we had with Solomon yesterday, I felt it was very, very necessary for us to bring this story up. The reason that this man was arrested was because this young boy was able to confess to his parents. Initially, his father did report to the police, but this man was refusing to honor the police invitations, and then apparently they say he was trying to manipulate the situation from outside, and they had to order his arrest. And so he was arrested. I don't know, many people have seen the video of him talking. That's the video there. Let's listen. Okay, I just...
The video is afraid of you.
The video should be afraid of me. So in the video, a police officer was interrogating him, asking him questions. And I would say the police officer played some reverse psychology on him.
Smart.
Because the man, when he answered the questions, was saying, no, I only had sex with him twice. I did not use him for rituals. And he seems to weigh using him for rituals as a higher crime, a higher wrong than raping this boy. And so he's confessing, all of that is there and everything. It's just been very harrowing to watch.
Know this guy personally. I'm sure he's married.
He has children.
I think he's the owner of the hotel.
Yes, he's said to actually be notorious in the area for doing... I can't remember, it's an area here in Lagos, but he's notorious in the area for doing such. When we spoke to Solomon yesterday, he said globally 1 in 6 boys will have been sexually assaulted before they reach the age of 19. So we know we have a crisis with the girls. We also have a crisis with the boys. And it is important that parents, I'm not blaming any parents, because you can think you're asking and your child doesn't say anything and you move on. But we have got to do a better job of parenting.
Honestly, I so want to commend that young boy. That means he has some kind of relationship with his parents.
Yes.
Before he's able to tell them something as sensitive
as that. This. And it's not something that we should be comfortable keeping quiet about. And while it is frustrating for us to keep talking about this every second we get on this table, especially, it's a conversation that can never end. As parents, you must, because sometimes, like Tulu says, you can be busy with the daily grind, and then you ask and they answer you, oh, fine. Remember when a child, oh, how was today? Fine. How was school? Fine. How was it? Fine. Some parents just hear fine and move on. Some parents hear that, they don't interrogate. So what do you mean fine?
And I think they also need to use reassuring words, because imagine the threats that these boys face.
Yeah, he threatened them.
Yes, the boy had to damn the consequences to tell his father. So a lot of young, little children, they would have been thinking, oh, my uncle said if I tell, they're going to do something. So we need to use reassuring words as well. All
right, so let's take a short break at this juncture. You're still watching Jasiri here on News Central. We'll be right back. Our next story takes us to Ogun State. Stay with us.
I swear with my life that is only sex that I had with him.
With who?
Chiagozie. That I never use him for any ritual. I swear in the name of my late parents that are on the ground.
You're watching Jasiri here on News Central. We are live on all our socials. Please follow us and be part of the conversation. Before we take you to Ogun State, that's Lolo taking us to Ogun State, we have the video of this hotelier that was accused of raping a 16-year-old boy. Let's hear what he had to say.
I swear with my life that is only sex that I had with him.
With who?
Chiagozie. That I never use him for any ritual. I swear in the name of my late parents that are on the grave. I swear with my children, Brian Davis, Opera, my son, that I never did anything ritual. It was just sex. If I do it, let God take away my life and my generations.
Are you telling me the truth?
I am telling you the truth, officer.
Between you and God.
Between me and God.
It's only sex you have with him.
It's only sex I
You
have.
didn't take this boy for shrine or any ritualist.
I didn't do that in the name of God.
Take oath.
Or take oath.
You
I
didn't
never
take
did
any
that.
oath.
I never take anything, any oath, any...
Again, you see how he weighs being accused of ritual more than being accused of sodomy.
Yeah.
More than being accused of sexually assaulting a child. 16 is still a child. So the area of the state you were asking is it's ageable.
Okay, but it is against our law that
Yes,
you're caught in
absolutely.
this kind of this is an homosexual act. Having carnal knowledge of same sex is a boy, and the boy is 16.
a
So
child.
this guy should really get the full brunt
Of the law.
Honestly, it should be used as a scapegoat.
And I think one thing I'll say final on this is parents, we're focused so much on securing our girls, on keeping our girls safe. We parent, they say that we parent girls, we raise girls, but we let boys run wild.
I did not.
Please.
It's the
It's
same.
not to blame any parents, but this is a wake-up call for parents who have male children, for parents who have young boys at home. As you're protecting your girls, you need to protect them as well. You need to protect them as well. And it's not somebody as far. Don't forget, a lot of children who are sexually abused are abused by people in their circle, people that are known to them and their families, not necessarily strangers. So many of us tend to look for stranger danger, the person far. But more intimate people, more family members, more people known to children abuse them than those who are strangers. Please, let us all be on the lookout. Let's move on to the next
I
story.
think we have reactions.
Okay, let's quickly
have
take reactions.
Reactions to this story?
I don't
Can we
know.
take it
I
now?
mean, it's
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next story, which is okay. The reactions are up now.
this piece of is saying it as if it's normal to violate a kid. Then someone says, do you get the way he's so relaxed and explaining it, no remorse whatsoever? It's so unsettling, as if it's less evil.
That's the point being made.
Honestly,
The repetition of admittance will remove any claim of confession under duress. Brilliant intelligence officer. Yes, many people have applauded the man who interrogated him. The weird thing is he has kids, and even swearing by them. You have kids and you would do such a horrible thing to another person's children.
Yeah.
Who else do we have here? It's this kind of thing that got Jesus worried while he was on the cross. He cried out, Elo, Elo,
Lama sabachthani.
which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? Oh, girl. Oh, Lego.
You know, we
the
can be
admittance,
talking about these kinds of things and laughing it off. And people
Nobody's laughing it off.
No, you know, like the guy, I'm sure that's a soft landing. But what I would like about people have been gobsmacked by the behavior of the hotelier.
And you know, when you talk, this boy is the one that reported. I do not think this is his first victim.
Of course not.
The other 5 boys were around the same time or involved, because one of the witnesses, he mentioned his kids' names. One of the witnesses for this boy's incident was his friend, who was apparently present at the time, and also he tried to do the same thing. This man has been doing this for
And that is someone who has a wife at home
and children. And if you ask him, he'll tell you he's not gay.
Yeah,
he will swear up
say
and
he's
down
not
that
gay.
he's not gay.
And the wife will stay with him, keep staying with him, and saying it was the devil.
and he has money.
Voila.
You see, sometimes
the ripple effect
the
is
ripple effect of these things that we do.
Yep.
See, he's even swearing by the life of his children.
And he called
Innocent children.
Even call their names.
Even call their names. Do you know that he set the boys up? When people know him, these children will be bullied. If you had this man's child in your child's class, won't you want to withdraw your child from that class?
So his action is ruining multiple lives. I hope that Lagos State can step in and get this young boy therapy, because as we talked with Solomon yesterday, the baggage, the scars, the trauma that is carried from childhood into adulthood, and we wonder why people can end up doing certain things. It's never a justification for what you do when you're an adult, but it gives you a kind of reasoning and background behind why people behave certain ways. And I hope we can get some help.
We need to get to this next story because it's equally unpleasant. This week, Obda Abdul Semiu Gunjobi, the suspended Olorile of Orile-Ifo in Ogun State, was remanded at the Ilaro Correctional Center after failing to meet the bail conditions. The traditional ruler was suspended for 6 months following allegations of molestation and assault. The monarch was arraigned in court where he faced charges of conspiracy, assault, and conduct likely to raise a breach of peace, stemming from a viral video where he was seen assaulting a 73-year-old chief, Areola Abraham.
o ní jèrè ọmọ o ní jèrè aya o máa tọrọ jẹ ní o máa tọrọ mu àbúrò ẹ àpò mu ẹ wọn náà máa rọ lọ́wọ́ wọn o máa fọ́ lójú o máa fọ́ lójú ní o máa fọ́ lójú wa. bẹ́ẹ̀ ló máa ìjọ ṣe nǹkan ìjọ ṣe nǹkan máa bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀. o ní gbèjẹ kó mọ̀ tako gbèjẹ lọ. o ti bí kí lọ́tọ́ kẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ èyí lójú mi o ẹni bá bọ̀ kó lájà kó mọ̀ ta lójú mi kó wá sọ. ẹni bá wọ́n pé bàbá lọ́wọ́ mi jẹ́ well, I tell you something with it. About capital,
So, sorry, this is a longer video, but in the longer video, he slaps the cap off his head, then he tells him to prostrate in front of him, and what he's saying is that you're going to go blind, you will beg, your generations will beg. He was literally insulting him and cursing him and cursing his family, that they'll never jerry, they won't ever be successful, they won't do well. And I'm really just very curious as to the foundation of this, but that is not a justification of it. Blessings, I think we have more details.
So, Oba Ogunjobi was suspended by the Ogun State government for 6 months, citing his actions as unbefitting of his status and undermining the sanctity of the traditional institution. The case has been adjourned to March 6, 2025 for further hearing.
And these are the things that, you know, when I was joking at home when I saw this story, and I was saying that even if people believed in the gods, the people that are supposed to be custodians of the culture are abusing their position, abusing the sacredness, the mystery that surrounds traditional religion. They are throwing everything out in the open and destroying it. So that means, if I'm a person, how would I be able to respect an Oba like this? There are other ways to do disciplinary actions, not publicly humiliate a grown man.
I mean,
this much.
Yes. I think the man is even older than him. If you look at his picture and the chief is 73. I think the chief is even older than him. You're supposed to have a culture that respects elders and older people.
It's just sheer abuse of power. I don't care what the man did. He may have been in the wrong. And I know we've always talked about this thing of standing on the line, the precipice with respect, and using respect to hide behind on people. But this doesn't have anything to do with that, unfortunately, for me. I feel it's just sheer abuse of power, and the way you're just rude, the way the man was already humble before you, but the way you were poking your finger in his face, and just saying all this
public street.
And you're saying this,
so regurgitating
this thick Yoruba
state haven't done
swears and words.
The fact is that now a lot of these traditional rulers, a lot of them have gone to prison. They faced the brunt of the law in the last couple of years. I know a couple of them that have been embroiled
and then dethroned
as well. Because you cannot say because you are a monarch, you are supposed to be the custodian of the law. You're supposed to be
so that's why I wanted
poster boy or poster child.
That's the point I wanted to go to.
Traditional religion.
We might be focusing on the monarchs, but don't forget that right now their behavior too is not to say that they were not badly behaved in history, but their behavior too is more a reflection of our society. So this Oba that is now facing charges, he's said to actually have been a former police officer that has been using his trying to be raising his shoulder and doing his using power and trying to threaten people in the area. So you stop this man, 73 years old, on the streets, publicly humiliating him, knocking the cap off his head, surrounding him with people, cursing him and his generations. And I just remember what the conversation I think we had on Monday or Tuesday, sometime this week, based on Aisha Yusufu's clip on A Place at the Table about family being the smallest unit, and so many Nigerians growing up and their first dictatorship they encounter is in their homes. And I come back to it. At the end of the day, anybody in a position of power in this country starts looking to use that power. And I'm not talking power all the way to the president. Even a gate man, even a security guard, the way they'll come out, because that is their fiefdom, that's their domain, that's the place where they have power. Because let me tell you, a lot of Nigerians feel powerless in many other aspects of their lives. We cannot control what politicians are doing. We can, but we're choosing not to control what politicians do. We're struggling to even make the ends meet. That small place where we have authority, where we have control.
We want to run amok. We want to.
It's badly run amok.
And I know that this might be inconsequential, but I think that even because they always say family is the smallest unit, and it always starts from the family. You see this thing about, elder ones making it look like a joke, but just sending their younger ones to get something irrelevant. I think we need to stop. Like, an elderly one will just say, after all, I'm older than you, and just do something very unnecessary. It starts from there.
Okay, this is
just
just
humiliating another person. If he has done anything foul of the law, why didn't you call the police and allow them deal with it?
And from his reaction, it was like he didn't even know what he was.
He didn't understand
why is the thing I don't like about us, because you see authority, we now play eye service. No one saying.
Are we not even?
I watched the video. Are we not interrupted to say,
I know Yoruba girl. Would you speak again?
Kabiyesi is in jail.
But we're thankful to the person that recorded.
It's one of his people.
And that's what I'm saying. They might have thought this would really, they'll have their recording for their own, maybe posterity, or to remember when he showed authority. It has worked against them.
We have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we're getting into our final story. But during the break, the ladies will vote. Are we going to Uncle Pamileri, or is Kemi Padanok making it back here on the Justice table? We'll be back and you'll find out who.
I'll never forget in his...
we have stories for days. Talking off camera about Besele. You know what that means? You'll go and look for it. If you don't know, you'll go and look for it. But let's finish up. Our last story, the ladies have voted, takes us to Uncle Pamileri on X. Now, he posted on his X account that, quote, working with domestic staff can be challenging. No matter how kind you are or how much you treat them like family, issues still arise. You offer salary advances when they ask, give away items you no longer use, yet somehow some still find ways to betray that trust. Today, on a whim, I decided to use the guest toilets because one of our staff members was cleaning the upper floor. To my surprise, I found a black nylon bag tucked away, filled with rice, beans, gari, and frozen turkey and chicken. When my wife confronted her, she claimed it was for her children. But honestly, why not just ask? Interestingly, our security had been mentioning that she always left with large bags, but we never thought much of it. Until now. At the end of the day, it feels like kindness often gets taken for granted. Let's quickly get to the reactions before we talk in the final minutes we have. Most times they see it as you have surplus, and them taking few things you wouldn't notice won't hurt you. But then why still? God, Desha. Pamela replies, okay, let's go. I recently installed CCTV in one bakery unknowingly to the staff. One of them do go to the store to pack flour, sugar, and other things just to go and make chin-chin and puff-puff and sell at home. Funny enough, her puff will be bigger than those who do buy flour. They will be wondering if she do steal flour. And then, yes, ma, thief, she did thief all her ingredients. That's not funny. That's audacity.
Yeah.
Let it not be that I'm attention seeking, but you reminded me, I worked at an eatery in the UK. You need to see the way my colleagues were packing stew, meat, and other things from the kitchen, and even trying to entangle me in it. If it's not as if meat is expensive here, oh ha. Okay, finally, last year, December, I bought a new sewing machine. This story off me. On my way back home, I took a bike. On my way going, the keke kept asking me what the machine was for. I'm trying to shorten it. I told him I was a fashion designer and that's what I do. And he said he was interested in it, that he was learning the work before, and then he stopped. And then his interest was very high. When we reached the apartment, he even helped me bring it in. He begged that he would like to learn. He sounded so passionate. So the next day he came with his mom, and I was convinced about his passion and desire and gave them my tutoring fee, which his mom pleaded to half by the end of the month. I agreed, as I didn't want the dreams of this young man to die. He started. He only came at night because he still drove keke during the day. I was feeding him, teaching him, gave him a phone and SIM. Sometimes I helped him with money to fix his keke. Sure. I trusted the maggot and gave him my ATM pin so he can pay for fuel as he didn't have a bank account. No. Only for him to sneak my ATM from my wallet and started withdrawing my money. I saw alerts, asked him, and he denied. He didn't know he was the only one who knew my ATM pin in this life. It took a few days. I investigated and found out it was him who actually withdrew my money, and his plea was his younger sister needed school fees. I sent his foolish beep out of my apartment and never looked back. Now it's strictly business. I don't care about anyone's dreams or passions. You must pay me my complete tuition fee before I teach you anything. People make people change. That last line.
That's it.
People make people change.
You know, after some time, people make it about like, oh, but you are rich now and this and that. Just like my friend's video that his staff was stealing all her materials. People make a lot of these people that work with us just think that we don't have problems. You know how many people are in my DM every day thinking I can solve all their problems? Tolu, have I finished paying all my children's school fees? I have not. And a lot of time they just think because we sit in this position,
and you see us on social media,
is free. It is not. There are some people that have shops that those things that they take to sell is on loan. They get it from their customer. When they finish selling, they pay. So when they lose, when you steal from them, they cannot make ends meet.
I think for these domestic staff, for example, they feel that because of how you buy food, they've studied the house and they know that there's sharp food. These people get money. In their minds, these people get money day. Listen, you know your madam is nice. You know your oga is nice.
Why
you could have asked. But in their small minds, they'll be thinking, if I ask, they won't give me as much chance.
Look, I won't even lie. I'm not comfortable with you
that.
asking me, because I'm not saying you shouldn't ask, right? But you see situations where, and sometimes you can't help it. When you start off, maybe you have a help, you have a cleaner, you start off giving them a little, take 2,000. They will now have the audacity to ask you for every single thing. So sometimes when I see that you're approaching me to ask, I feel uncomfortable. Not because I can't help you, but because you now have the mind to be asking me because you think I have. In fact, it's happened because I've been burned several times. When the lady that cleans my house, when she started, once in a while I give her food in the morning, in the afternoon, then at some point I stopped for like 2 weeks. There's food in the pot, but don't touch it. Because I don't want you getting too comfortable with it and then feeling like, oh, you're entitled. After all, she always gives me. It's terrible, and it makes you who likes to give. Yes, it makes you feel bad.
I'll never forget a driver I had. You know, I'll take him to an eatery. I'll say, oh yeah, Aaron, come me. I'll buy one meat. Do you know this man? Catherine, I watched the Baba like this. He bought 3 wraps of pounded yam. I buy only one. Because I eat little, I buy only 1 wrap of eba.
Your appetites are not the same, Logo.
He bought 2 meats with pomo. 2.
Your stomach sizes are not the same.
I say, Baba. Sheba so well. Yeah, but I am so kicking a cotimba fe.
So I think that's a lack of it's a lack of consciousness and awareness. If somebody's inviting you somewhere, don't ever buy more than what they're buying. It's bad. So I think we have 2 things happening here: audacity and entitlement with Nigerians. I've had this conversation when we're driving a corridor and she sees the young kids who come to the door, who come to the window begging. She always wants to give, and I have to teach. And I'm like, you're not helping them. You're encouraging a bad behavior, and I think we so encourage that bad behavior that now a lot of people don't understand why so many people are not willing to give anymore. People have been burnt. As she said, and it's people that make people change. It's you when you give a friend and a friend is begging you for 500,000 that you give them, you loan them 500,000 and then they don't return the money. And then I don't give any money that I cannot give you. Are you not too big to be asking me for your money back?
No.
So it is we all have stories.
We need to have this conversation. We should do a show about
it is what all
the audaciousness.
Is that all kill you there? It's not all.
It's okay, we need to go.
It's okay, we need to go.
So go, we shall. See you on Monday. We need to go. Thank you guys. This is our show for today. We hope you've had a fantastic time with us on Jasiri and
pay your debtors or pay the people you owe money.
People where you they will go and pay your debts. Then let's talk on Monday.